Hey everyone, welcome to Moving Matt. We do all things cameras with a dash of vlogs and a little bit of travel. And today I want to talk about Sony registering a new camera and whether that camera is the highly anticipated A7 IV. So I'm going to go over a few of the reasons that it may be the A7 IV, and then also I'll go over a reason why it might not be and what it could be instead. So the main reasons I think it could be the Sony A7 IV is really that it's kind of time for the A7 IV to come. It seems like the anticipation for the A7 IV is getting at an all-time high, and I think it would be a great time for Sony to strike while the iron's hot. Especially considering now that the Sony A7 III seems to be getting long in the tooth, and it really looks like all the competition in that price range has a better offering than the Sony system. If you look at the Canon R6, even though it's had a lot of overheating issues, it's still a very impressive camera, offering 4K 60 at 10-bit, as well as some awesome photo capabilities. Nikon, even though they don't have the autofocus quite down, and it seems like they're not quite as sexy as Canon and Sony, they still have a very impressive camera in the Nikon Z6 Mark II, and I think even they are offering better quality camera than the A7 III is at this point. So it seems like if Sony does not come out with that camera fairly soon, then they will be playing from behind in that price range, and they may even start to lose different consumers to Canon because they do not have a modernly spec'd camera in that entry-level price range. And while we're talking about the specs of the Sony A7 IV, what do I think those specs will be? Well, a lot of people are guessing that this will have a 4K 60, and essentially it will be a less capable version than the Sony A7S III, at least when it comes to the video side. But I really do not think they're gonna rest on their laurels. Obviously, I think it will be 4K 60 10-bit. They will do at least as much as the R6 is doing, and I'm guessing they won't overheat, and they will definitely not have record limits because they've pretty much gotten rid of all those. I think it will have the same body style as the A7S III and the A1. Basically, all the cameras now have a slightly heftier body, and I think it will follow along that same blueprint. But I do think that they could add a little bit of extra flair and maybe even push things to 6K. Now, I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, and most people will say, well, the A7S III doesn't even have that offering. And yes, it doesn't, but the A7S III will still have it beat in dynamic range as well as low light performance, and they probably won't add all the different bitrate options that the A7S III does have. But having 6K in this camera at a entry-level price will be a huge win for Sony. And when the Sony A7 III came out, it was a very high-end camera, at least for the time being, and a lot of people didn't expect that camera to have the specs that it did. In a lot of ways, it surpassed the Sony A7S II, and the A7S II came out not too long before that, as well as the R3, which I think came out 6 months before the A7 III, and the A7 III had a lot of upgraded features that those cameras did not offer, especially in the autofocusing category. So for them to do something special and revolutionary with the A7 IV, I really think that is a high possibility. But do I think this is the camera that's going to be coming out in May, or probably May, because they just registered the camera, which means usually it's about a month and then they'll announce the camera? Well, I'm not so sure. I absolutely hope it is, because the A7 IV is usually the camera that I'm getting the most questions about. But the main reason that I'm not sure, and I kind of highly doubt that it is going to be the A7 IV, is because the rumors coming from Sony Alpha Rumors. Now granted, they aren't the most reliable sources, but they do say that they have 3 different sources saying that it's going to be a follow-up camera to the A6600. And just looking at the situation, the APS-C line has not gotten a lot of love in a long time. I'm pretty sure that the last camera that came out was the A6600, and it really disappointed in a whole lot of ways. And to be honest, I kind of thought they'd given up on the APS-C line, especially when they announced the A7C, which is a very compact camera that is full frame. I thought they were pretty much going all in on full frame and had given up on that sensor size. But maybe I'm wrong, and another reason I think I may be wrong is because Tamron just released new lenses for the APS-C line, and I do not think that Tamron or any of the companies really that work with Sony closely are doing anything in a vacuum. And I think if they are releasing new lenses for it, then there's probably going to be a new body to come along with that fairly soon. It is from a very reliable partner that's made very good glass in the past. So I think if they're developing lenses for it, then it's very possible that there is going to be a new body coming out for it. But there's actually been 2 cameras registered by Sony. So I know a lot of people are thinking, well, maybe one is the A7 IV and maybe one is this A6600 predecessor. But I think that's kind of wishful thinking. And one only uses the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and the other has the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So that has Sony Alpha rumors believing that is going to be a point and shoot camera, probably a follow-up to the RX line. Also, if it was the A6600 and the A7 IV, I think they'd be stealing each other's thunder, or at least the A7 IV would probably be stealing the A6600's thunder, and that would probably be odd marketing for them to release them too close together. So if this is the A6600, I do not expect the A7 IV until probably at least July, and maybe even a little later. And I know that's going to be a big disappointment to a lot of people. And I even hope I'm wrong, because that means that I would probably be right in the past when I said that May or June was going to be the date. But I'm thinking that that is the more likely case, that it is this other APS-C style camera. But what do you think? Drop in the comment section below. Do you think I am right? Am I wrong? Which camera do you think this is going to be? What do you think the specs of these cameras are going to be? Let me know in the comments below and let's get a conversation going. If you did like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And until next time, peace.